Another day, another cheap punch needle kit. Today we are reviewing the punch needle kit from DeSerres. I got this for about $20 Canadian from DeSerres, which for those of you that don't know, this is a Canadian arts and crafts store. I'm not one for judging a book by its cover, but the packaging makes this look very promising. I can appreciate the recyclable materials used in the packaging at the very least. So let's open this up and see what this kit contains. So we've got some instructions, a hoop, a punch needle, a threader. Oh, wait, hold on. Is this broken? Okay then, a broken threader, yarn, and the pattern printed on some fabric. The fabric feels good, it's not stiff like Ida cloth, which is a good sign. The yarn is probably acrylic. I've seen this style of yarn in the Amazon punch needle kits, which I've reviewed before in another video on my channel, and there's a lot of this yarn. Hopefully enough to finish the kit. We'll see. The punch needle seems pretty good too. The metal part goes all the way through, meaning our yarn won't get caught on rough, unsanded edges, which is always an issue with these cheap big box store kits, especially with the wooden needles, so this is a good sign. Now, for the red flags. So, I don't know how we're supposed to thread our punch needle with a broken threader. For someone who's buying a punch needle kit for the first time and they get this would just be like an instant failure of a kit, because if you can't thread your yarn through the needle, you won't be able to punch with it, which kind of makes the entire kit useless. Luckily for us, I have extra wire threaders from other kits I've reviewed in the past, so we can just use one of those for the purposes of this review. Now, the next red flag that I want to mention is the wooden embroidery hoop. We've talked about this on the channel before, but it's not great for punch needle because wooden hoops don't hold tension very well. But let's try punching with it and see what happens. So, despite our yarn flowing through our needle properly and everything, our fabric is still getting looser with every punch, and this is because of the wooden embroidery hoop. Luckily, for the purposes of testing this kit out, I have some plastic embroidery hoops left over from previous kits, so let's switch the hoops out and see how it goes. Take a look at that. The hoop is holding tension and the fabric is staying nice and tight. This is how punching should be, and the fact that so many companies are just including wooden embroidery hoops is a clear sign that they aren't doing proper research into this craft and how it works. Hey, future Vrinda here. I'm recording this a few days after I finished the kit, and I saw something in the kit instructions that I didn't notice before. Take a look at this image right here. This is a plastic embroidery hoop. So explain to me why there's a plastic embroidery hoop in the kit instructions, but in the actual kit itself, we get a wooden embroidery hoop. I don't get it. Did they know and just not include one? I have no idea. It's super weird. Thought I'd bring it up. Back to the video. This punch needle is also a little different from the ones I've seen included in other kits. Lengthwise, it's equivalent to the loop length of an Oxford 13, which I think is really good because this project is meant to be displayed from our working side or our stitch side. Having a longer punch needle would just be a waste of yarn. I do have something of a love-hate relationship with this yarn though. I like it because it's soft and it looks fantastic displayed. It just has a lot of plies and it can be a little finicky at times, but we have a decent amount of it left over, which gives me hope for the rest of the kit. So let's continue. So now that I've been punching for a while, I can say that this punch needle is on the better side of the punch needles I've encountered in these cheap kits. It's definitely not as ergonomic as something like an Oxford punch needle, but it's not horrible. Okay folks, here is our finished punch needle piece. So it took me about 1.5 hours to finish the kit, and I finished it off on my own by switching out the plastic embroidery hoop for the original wooden hoop for display purposes, and basting the excess fabric in by using a darning needle and some of the leftover yarn. I really like the pattern, it's super cute, it can definitely be put up as decor, and we have quite a bit of yarn left over from the project kit, which is also great, but I wouldn't have been able to do this kit if I didn't have a plastic embroidery hoop or extra wire threaders. You know, I'm not expecting greatness from a $20 big box craft store kit, but they should at least try and include some more threaders, or make sure that the threaders aren't broken before adding them to kits. Maybe this was an honest mistake, maybe it wasn't. It's just frustrating for someone who's just starting out with this craft to have to deal with that. And please, do some research on hoops. We cannot be including wooden embroidery hoops for punch needle kits because they simply do not work. So if you want to try out punch needle but don't want to spend a lot of money, this kit is fine, but only if you buy a plastic embroidery hoop and possibly some extra wire threaders alongside it. If you try out a kit like this and you find that you like the craft, then you could start investing in some more pricier tools and materials and supplies. Check out my video on my channel where I talk about my favorite punch needle tools and supplies if you're interested in that. Otherwise, this is the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to subscribe. Until next time.